is the circulation manager of GQ magazine, and she is asked to determine the number of copies to be published every month to maximize profit. Now, she is able to determine the probabilities of the number of copies sold per month. Each copy will cost $4 to print and can be sold at $10 per copy. So that will be the selling price. Copies not sold within the month are donated to a recycling facility. There is a 5% probability that 11 copies will be sold, 6% probability that 12 copies will be sold, 7% probability that 13 copies will be sold, 7% probability that 14 copies will be sold, 10% probability that 15 copies will be sold, 15% probability that 16 copies will be sold, 20% probability that 17,000 copies will be sold, 15% probability that 18,000 copies will be sold, 10% probability that 19 copies will be sold, and lastly, we have 5% probability that 20,000 copies will be sold. The question is, given all those probabilities and those number of copies that is discrete, how many copies should be printed per month? Okay, so hello everyone, welcome to our next topic for this presentation. We will going to discuss all about our third model under the decision theory, which is the marginal analysis with discrete distribution. Again, marginal analysis with discrete distribution. When we say discrete distribution, this is a distribution that is not infinite, unlike the normal distribution. So, discrete distribution has exact values, has exact numbers. So, let's start our discussion regarding this topic. Okay, model number 3, again, marginal analysis with discrete distribution. This model is used when there's many alternatives and state of nature. Now, we have some assumptions in this model, which are the selling price and marginal loss per unit are known. So they are already given in every problem that we will going to have here. Second one, there are many alternatives and state of nature. Next, the alternatives and state of nature are identical. And last one, the probability of occurrence of each state of nature is known. So yan, aside sa known, they are also discrete. Okay, so let's have our example para mas makita ninyo how this marginal analysis with discrete distribution is working and paano siya ginagamit. Okay? So, by the way, when we say marginal analysis, in finance side of things, this is an examination of the additional benefits of an activity compared to the additional cost incurred by that same activity. So, more likely, somehow, this is cost-benefit analysis. Companies use marginal analysis as a decision-making tool to help them maximize their potential profits. Okay? So, let's have an example. First, let's have here the GQ magazine. I hope you are familiar with this magazine. This is a foreign magazine. I think around US, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, no? So, GQ magazine. Naomi is the circulation manager of GQ magazine, and she is asked to determine the number of copies to be published every month to maximize profit. Now, she is able to determine the probabilities of the number of copies sold per month. Each copy will cost $4 to print and can be sold at $10 per copy. So that will be the selling price. Copies not sold within the month are donated to a recycling facility. There is a 5% probability that 11 copies will be sold, 6% probability that 12 copies will be sold, 7% probability that 13 copies will be sold, 7% probability that 14 copies will be sold, 10% probability that 15 copies will be sold, 15% probability that 16 copies will be sold, 20% probability that 17,000 copies will be sold, 15% probability that 18,000 copies will be sold, 10% probability that 19 copies will be sold, and lastly, we have 5% probability that 20,000 copies will be sold. The question is, given all those probabilities and those number of copies that is discrete, how many copies should be printed per month? Okay, so that is the problem of Naomi. Actually, all this data that na sinabi sa ating problem is ilagay natin sa table para mas madali siyang intindihin, no? Let's have my pen, kulay black tayo. Okay, probability distribution. First, let's have the marginal loss per copy. So, let's go back to the problem. It says here that each copy will cost $4 to print. So, meaning to say, ito na yung magiging marginal loss nila per copy. No? So, 4. Let's write it here, 4. Okay, next, the selling price per copy. How much is the selling price per copy? And can be sold at $10 per copy. So, 10 will be the selling price. Let's have here 10. Okay, now, we have the copies sold per month, though that is represented by the variable X, and that is in $1,000. Nasaan po yun? Ito lahat yun, yung 12,000, yung 11,000. This is 11,000, guys. This is not 11 copies, but rather 11,000. No? Sorry for the typographical error. Yan, lahat sila in 1,000. So, ayan yung X natin. Okay, so let's write them. 11, 12, 13, 14, 3 naman, no? Wala naman nagpatlang. Hanggang 20. So, 11,000 hanggang 20. Since naka-in 1,000 na ito na lang lagay natin. 11, 12, 13, 14, up to 20. 19, 20. Okay. Now, the probability. Kada X natin, kada copies of sold natin. So, sa 11%, we have 5%. Next, we have 6. We have 7, 7, tapos 10. So, 5, 6, 7, 7, 10. And those are all percentage. Gawin natin in decimal. So, 0.05. 0. Oops, this is 5. Okay. 0.06. Tapos dalawang 7. And 0.1 for the 10%. Now, let's move on sa 16,000 copies. Anong probability nun? Sa 15,000 is, ayun na yung 10. And 15% for the 16. So, 15, 20, 15, tapos 10, tapos 5. And convert natin lahat ng ito into decimal. Okay, so let's have here 0.15, 0.20, 0.15, 0.10, 0.05. Okay, now, we have actually the variable na marginal profit na tinatawag. And itong marginal profit, let's have it as MP. So, marginal profit is magkano yung kikitain ba kada copy. Okay? We have selling price natin and yung marginal loss or the cost of production ng kada copy is 4. So, meaning to say marginal profit is equivalent to the difference of the selling price and the marginal loss. Now, let's compute for the value of marginal profit. So, this is 10 selling price minus 4. So, basically, our marginal profit will be 6. Later on, we will use this. So, para saan po? No? Actually, para sa probability of optimal stock. Kasi yung tinatanong, ano ba yung amount or yung number of copies na dapat i-produce monthly para optimum yung stock. When we say optimum yung stock, hindi ganun katagal siyang matetenga sa inventory. Hindi naman siya ganun kabilis maubos. Tapos may mga bibili pa. May demand pa, ubos na. Something like that. Hindi ganun sa dalawa. At least yung nasa gitna. So that is what we call the probability of optimal stock. Let's have it here. So probability of optimal stock. Okay, so this is actually represented by P of X asterisk. So that is optimal stock. So P of X asterisk, let's have the formula. Actually, makukompute mo itong probability na to by having the marginal loss divided by the selling price, ML over SP. Okay, so let's compute for the value of the probability ng optimal stock natin. ML is 4 divided by selling price, which is 10. So this will be 0.6 or rather 0.4, or meaning to say 40%, around 40%. This is 0.4. Okay, now we have 0.4 probability of optimal stock. Ano na yung next? Kung mapapansin nyo, we have 2 columns pa dito. No? So the first column is to check whether the probability is greater than or equals to X, which is ito po yun. No, so to start, let's start on the very first row. Since this is a discrete distribution, wala na tayong pinanggalingan, wala nang 10 wala nang 9, wala nang 8. So we will going to start with 1. After nyan, pababa na ng pababa, ima-minus natin dito sa probability. So what I mean is 1 minus 0.05. So this is 0.95 minus 0.06. Nakuha. So, pababa lang siya. So, 0.95 minus 0.06. This is 0.89. 0.89 minus 0.07. This is 0.82. So, what this column means? We have a probability daw, no, kung titignan nyo, we have a probability na 95% na mas mataas pa sa 12 yung masasold every month. So, ayun yung meaning niya. And anyway, this is just part of the solution. Mamaya, mas ma-appreciate ninyo kapag nasa bandang dulo na tayo. Saan na ito gagamitin? So, 0.82 minus 0.07, we have 0.75. So, 0.75 minus 0.1, this will be 0.65. 0.65 minus 0.15, this is 0.5. 0.5 minus 0.2, this is 0.3. 0.3 minus 0.15, this will be 0.15. 0.15 minus 0.10, so basically this will be 0.05. Ayan, so we're done with our column of probability of greater than or equals to X. Parang sinasabi dito guys, no, na what is the probability of having a 11 or more than 11 or more sa month na yon nang mabibenta nila. No, that's why P of greater than or equals to X. And as you can see, the more na mababa dito, 11, compare natin yung 11 and yung 20. Since we have here 11, maliit siya, no? So, meaning, mas mataas yung probability na mas marami sa 11,000 ang maibebenta. Okay? Mas marami sa 11,000 copies. Hindi ito naka-dollars. Sorry. This should be in pieces or copies. That dollars. So, wrong unit. Nakuha nyo? So, again, mas maliit yung value, which is 11, mas mataas yung probability na 11 or more yung maibenta. Kaya we have here 1 or 100%. Since, di ba, kung titignan nyo, pataas ng pataas ito, Then, dito sa column ng P greater than or equals to X, pababa naman ng pababa. Ibig sabihin, pag dumating tayo ng 20, ano yung chance na makakabenta sila ng 20,000 na copies pataas? Ang sabi, 0.05 or 5% na lang yung tsansa. Nakuha? So, meaning to say, itong 11 to 20 na yan, since ito lumiliit na lumiliit, baka pagdating natin ng 23 or 24 o kung anong number man, 0% na. Ibig sabihin, hindi na nila may hit yung number na yon na ganun karami maibebenta. Therefore, ang question is, from 11,000 copies to 20,000 copies, nasaan dyan sa mga numerong yan yung optimum na stock, yung optimal stock nila, no? Anong number para ayun na lang yung monthly nila na ipoproduce na bilang ng copies. Okay, so I hope you get it. Next, let's have P greater than or equals to X greater than or equals to P of X asterisk. Okay. So, ano naman ang ibig sabihin nito? I'll just delete the extra na parenthesis. Anong ibig sabihin nito? So, dito, we will going to decide if ever na yung value ba natin dito sa column na to is greater than or equals the P of X asterisk, which is our probability of optimal stock, which is 0.4. No, malinaw, 0.4. Mas mataas ba? 1. Mas mataas ba sa 0.4? Yes. Okay, 0.95. Mas mataas ba 0.4? Yes. 0.89. Yes, of course. 0.82. So, this will be yes. 0.75. Yes. Higher siya sa 0.4. 0.65. Yes. Higher siya sa 0.4. 0.5. Yes. Higher pa rin siya sa 0.4. 0.3. No. Hindi na siya mas mataas sa 0.4. Mas mataas na sa kanya yung 0.4. So, 0.15, ganun din. No. No, and 0.05. No. Now, for the final answer, it says here that for the final answer, we need to determine the minimum, take note guys, minimum P of greater than or equals to X, which is, this is our third column. So, determine natin yung pinakamaliit na yon, which is greater, take note minimum P of greater than or equals to X, which is greater than or equals to P of X asterisk, which is our optimal stock. Anong ibig sabihin? No, ano daw yung pinakamaliit na value ng third na column natin, or kung gusto mo mag-base ka doon sa fourth column, ano yung pinakamaliit na yes? Something like that. Kasi ang greater than or equals to P of X asterisk are all yes. Tama? So, meaning, ano yung pinakamaliit na value na naka-yes? No, I hope you get it. And, upon checking dito, yes, 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 tapos no na, meaning ito. No, ayan yung pinakamaliit na value na nag-yes. Therefore, ano po yung katumbas niya? 17,000 copies. No? So, 17,000 copies. Therefore, ano ang ating magiging final answer? No, thus, sino ulit yon? Yung manager. No, let's check the manager. Kung ano pangalan niya. Si Naomi. Parang familiar yung name. It seems like ito is natakil din sa OR1 yung name niya. Naomi should print 17,000 copies per month. No? So, ayan, ganyan karami ang dapat niyang i-produce. Ito yung optimal na stock na mismo. No, yung value na in amount of copies na. So, Ganun lang kadali ang ating marginal analysis with discrete distribution, and that's actually the final answer. Now, aside dyan, this is not included in the solution, but I just wanted to have a graph for you to be able to visualize the problem more. So, I have here an Excel file. Dito sa Excel file na to, as you can see, we have the copies sold per month, which is the X, and the probability. The first two columns, ito, pareho lang po yan, nilagay ko doon, no? The first two columns. Now, since we have this, pwede kasi kaya actually natin siyang gawing graph no? Since discrete naman yung values niya, exact naman itong mga numbers na yan, wala naman silang decimal point, we can actually have the graph. So, let's have some graph. Ano bang magandang design ng graph? Ito tayo, for discrete distribution. And actually, if you will check, doon pa lang sa graph, makikita natin na discrete na siya, hindi siya continuous, hindi siya normally distributed. Dahil iba-iba yung kanilang mga probability, and of course, hindi naman nasa gitna yung mean talaga yung pinakamataas, 'di ba? Sabi natin, when we say normal distribution, we have unimodal, tapos infinite. Ito hindi siya infinite hanggang 20 lang, hanggang 11 lang, 11 to 20 lang yung bound. That's why it is called a discrete distribution. And as you can see, no, yung napili po natin dito sa ating manual computation na final answer, which is 17,000, ayun din yung pinakamalaki. Sa unang tingin pa lang naman. No, anyway, again, this is not part of the solution. I just add this one for your data visualization. No, so, meaning to say, ito yung punto na kapag nag-produce ka pa, no, kumbaga, imagine niyo may hati dito. Let's have a line nga dito para makita ninyo. So, let's have a line. Imagine niyo we have a line dito na, tumabara pa. Ayan. May have a line dito sa bandang ito na parang siya yung magsiserve as the boundary. Ibig sabihin, kapag daw pumunta ka pa dito sa 18, 19, and 20, kapag ganun pa karami yung copies na pinroduce mo, it will be the start na hindi na optimal yung stacking level mo. Ito na yung mga pagkakataon na hindi siya mabebenta lahat, magkakaroon ka ng oversupply, no? And sabi sa problem, mapupunta lang siya sa recycling facility, so sayang naman. No? Anyway, if you have sa company, no, in real world, if you have your recycling na facility para yung papel is gagamitin ulit as raw material for next production, pwedeng yun. Pero ang sabi kasi sa atin, do-donate. So, ayun. Kaya kailangan optimal yung stacking level nila. Okay? So, that's basically the reason why pinakita ko sa inyo yung graphical na presentation, data visualization. Napakadali lang naman ito, i-graph lang, X and Y lang. Okay? So, that ends up our discussion regarding the model number 3 of the decision theory, which is the marginal analysis with discrete distribution. I hope you learned something from this discussion and see you on our next presentation. Keep safe always. Bye-bye.